Welcome back. This is Kylri Jayvel. This is Unit 5, Part 1, Developing Internet of Things, which is part of the subject Internet of Things, subject code 1590422E. This slide explains about the Unit 5 syllabus, which includes IoT platform design methodologies, IoT physical devices and endpoints, IoT systems, logical design using Python, IoT physical services, and cloud offering. We will be discussing about the cloud computing for IoT with respect to IoT physical servers and cloud offering. So the major topics which we'll cover will include the cloud storage models and the communication, WAMP, Web Application Messaging Protocol, Xively Cloud for IoT, which is a platform as a service, and then Python Web Application Framework, Django, how to develop applications with Django, and introduction, developing REST web services, and some list of Amazon web services offered for IoT, and the basic Skynet IoT messaging platform. Before we get into the details of cloud computing, it is very important to understand what is basically cloud computing. Cloud computing is something where you have a pool of computing resources which are configurable and shareable. Examples can be networks which can be shared, servers, storage, applications, and many other services which can be shared. And it also makes life simple. It is very convenient, and it helps a demand driven access to the shared pool of resources. Because of it, it gives a feature of ubiquitousness. The next topic to be understood towards the cloud offerings for IoT is WAMP, which is Web Application Messaging Protocol. It is a sub-protocol of WebSocket, which provides publish, subscribe, and RPC messaging patterns. As I was discussing about WAMP, WAMP is a protocol which helps exploit the power of WebSocket to its maximum. It is something which enables real-time communication between various technologies, processes, and machines. Let us discuss the key concepts of WAMP in a bit detail. So it is basically WAMP is something which helps for data conversation or communication between two peers. The peers are represented basically as clients, and the conversation happens via the channel, which is the transport layer, and the conversation is presented by the session layer, which is on top of transport layer. So the basic ingredients, if you look at, it is clients, session, and the transport. So clients are the one who are involved in the conversation, and the conversation is communicated via the transport layer, and on top of it, the data conversation, actual data conversation between the peers is presented on the session, which is on top of transport layer. So now coming to client, the peers are the clients. They can either take two models, a publish subscribe model or RPC, a remote procedure call model. In the publish subscriber model, we usually use the terms publisher and subscriber. The publisher publishes the events to specific terminology called as topic, which is maintained by the broker. And anybody who's interested in that topic published by a specific publisher, they subscribe to the topic again via the broker. And whenever something gets notified by the publisher or published by the publisher, so it is immediately informed to the subscriber, and he gets to use it. So the best example or analogy which you use, which you see in everyday life, is your YouTube can be your best example, which works with publisher subscriber. And then in RPC model, we use the word caller and callee. Caller calls to the remote procedure by giving some call arguments, whatever it wants to compute. And the callee is the one who receives it, executes the procedure to which the call are issued, and then later returns the results back to the caller. So now there is one another ingredient which is called as router. So in publish subscriber, we refer router as broker, and in RPC, we refer to it as dealer. Okay, so the broker acts as a router, routing messages published to the specific topic to all the subscribers who are subscribed to that topic. So it acts as a middleware or middleman. In RPC, it is the similar thing. So what the dealer does is he routes the RPC calls from caller to the callee, and once the callee executes, the results are returned back to the caller via the dealer. And the application code usually runs on the clients, which is nothing but your peers. And the basic examples of the code could be publisher code, application code, subscriber application code, and the caller or callee application code. Autobahn is a new word which we are coming across. This is a simple framework which helps to achieve WAMP. So this slide is just abstracted in order to limit the complexity. So as and when you want to install and work, you can go for a detailed version of it. This slide just aims to give an introduction about the Autobahn framework. So what should you do is you just have to install the Autobahn framework, and then you have to clone the Autobahn Python from the GitHub. Okay, and if you look at here, there are boxes given with bulleted boxes with pink highlights at the background. So the box 8.1, the first box, and then the second bulleted git clone, and the third bulleted box is your Python Autobahn Python thing. And the last one you see as Python Autobahn Python. There's a big line given. So why am I introducing you to you is if you look at the slide, the first box helps you to understand how the installation happens, and the second box tells about the cloning procedure. The last two boxes are the one which we are adopting WAMP. There are two models as we have seen. So the publish subscriber model as well as the RPC model. So here I am just introducing you to the publish subscriber context. So what do you do is in the publish subscriber, you have the publisher, you have the subscriber, and the broker, which is your server. So the Python Autobahn Python slash example slash twisted WAM basic server dot py. So what does that line do is it actually starts the broker through which the publisher and the subscriber will communicate. And the last box is about Python Autobahn Python slash example twisted WAM basic client dot py hyphen component publisher app dot component. So what this does is this line actually creates the publisher. Similarly, you have to repeat step for subscriber, which is actually not given here. So now you have done three things: server or the broker is done, the publisher is done, and the subscriber is done. So now what should you do is you have to create a topic, and the topic, for example, what is given here is test topic. So anybody who wants to publish is going to publish on this test topic, and anybody who's interested to listening to that topic will subscribe to the same topic. So that is what is the nutshell understanding of this slide. Till now, we saw what is cloud computing and one example framework for WAMP, which is Autobahn. And now this is introduction to one of the cloud offered for IoT. Example is Zively. Zively is a commercial platform as a service cloud model, and it is very useful for creating various solutions for IoT. So because of the Zively cloud, the backend data collection infrastructure is completely managed by Zively. So it gives a lot of time for the IoT developers to focus on front-end infrastructure as well as the devices involved for IoT, basically involved for generation of data. On February 15, 2018, Google acquired Zively for $50 million, which is just, I'm just sharing it for your information. The slide attempts to explain how Zively basically works. Zively leverages standard Python libraries and APIs like HTTP sockets, MMQTT, in order to connect IoT devices to the Zively cloud. And it basically involves two concepts to connect to the device with respect to the cloud. It is feed ID and API key. So what is referred to as feed ID is basically for every device, you have collection of channels and data streams, which is uniquely identified by an ID, which is called as feed ID. There are two important parts in an IoT system. the collected data, and the application that uses the data. So Xively is one example for a cloud which helps in collection and processing of the data, but still the need of web application is not been catered by clouds like Xively. So you need some kind of a web application framework like Django. So introducing Django, it is a open source web application framework which helps in developing web applications using Python. And coming to the basic definition of web application framework, it comprises of various solutions, packages and best practices that allows development of web applications and dynamic websites for IoT based systems. At the end of this slide, you will understand why Django is a winning candidate for IoT applications. So it uses the most popular MTV, which is called as Model Template View Architecture. The beauty about this architecture is you can have a plug and play kind of models, and it helps in complete reusability. If you want to change your model, you can change your model, still your template and view remains intact. So you don't have to throw away something and develop completely from scratch if you wanted changes in one of these layers. So that is something very beautiful about this architecture. And another important thing, or the point which makes it interesting, is it separates the data and the control. So it gives a clutter-free architecture where you can have your control through business rules separated from your data model. And it provides a unified API, and it works across different databases without any change in the code. So this gives again a unambiguous or unmodified structuring, which helps you access the databases at the backend. So because of all these which I've told as previous points, it gives flexibility in the web application designed through these points which I have highlighted, and thus it is best suited for IoT applications. As I was saying, Django architecture uses MTV model. It is essential to understand what model, template, and view will represent. Model basically helps in understanding, or it helps in definitions of the data formats and the databases involved, whether you want to use relational or non-relational databases. So for every data type, or for every data or involved, so it helps in outlining or defines the outlines for the variables and methods for that particular type of data. And template is it uses specific language in order to create various types of text files, including XML, email, CSS, JavaScript, CSV, etc. To put it in simple terms, it is a simple HTML page with few extra placeholders. And view, basically it is a connect or a bridge between model and template. This is the one which actually helps in generation of the web pages. So view is the one who determines what data to be displayed, and correspondingly it retrieves the appropriate data from the database and passes that data to be presented in the template from the model. It converses with the model and then takes it and presents it in the template. Thank you. This brings us to the end of this lecture, and we'll be covering about the Skynet IoT platform and the various Amazon Web Services for IoT in the next lecture. Thank you so much.